Feel incredible!
It's not a cartoon. It's anime.
What? Man,
Keenan, what happened?
Shit. Keenan, what's wrong with you?
What in the world?
I'm fucking tired, man.
Keenan, you ain't shit.
Rob knows and Cam knows why I'm tired.
That's true.
That was trash, Keenan.
This
is for the fans, bro. This isn't
Wow.
for you.
I'm sorry, y'all.
You couldn't wake up for 5 seconds? God
Me
damn
and
it.
Rob had to compensate.
Where were you, Ice? I said you lean on to the side. What you talking
I
about?
almost died, okay? I was choking.
Oh, he was
Rob,
choking-
good job.
He was,
thank you.
he
Good
was
job to
choking
you
for
too,
being
Brent.
on time for the first time. This is the thing. Ice was on time today, on the dot actually,
Congratulations, Ice. Good job.
because he
Here-
didn't
here we
tell
go.
us he was even coming today. We didn't even know Ice was coming because he said he couldn't make it.
He specifically
Yeah, right.
told us he wouldn't be here, and
He
for
would-
the first time in the show's
Yep.
history,
We be saying, yeah, I've been
Ice was on time.
for the first time for like 3
everybody
weeks
Friday?
straight now.
No, you have because there was one time you showed up at 9 on the dot or whatever. And you were like, clock it.
Yeah,
Like, I'm
what's
in.
up, bitches?
I'm sorry, we're just so used to you being late. It feels like you're
Yeah,
never
it's
on
a
time.
normal thing, and I didn't expect you to come at all. So it was very big. It was Friday.
I like
Hey,
subverting expectations.
yeah. So everybody, welcome to another episode.
Oh, okay. Now you got some energy.
Piece of shit. Welcome to another episode of AnimeSHUN. The squad is back. Good to see you guys.
I
Always
couldn't
good to see
miss
you guys.
y'all for 2 weeks, man.
Yeah, I would've
I was
felt
about to
bad.
turn
That's
into.
what
I was about to turn into a guest host.
That's what it was. I hit me. Or it was in a group text like, "Yo, fam, this is like I'm gonna miss the second one. I'm gonna miss another one." Like, and he was telling me on the side, like, I'm not a part of the podcast.
No, man,
Missing
come
2 in a
on.
row. I was like,
I would have been fine with it.
I know.
Brendan wouldn't give a shit. But we're glad Ice is here. The whole squad is here today, and we're gonna go through episodes 6 through 10 of Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I expected this shit to start off and be fucking fire how it was leading up from episode 5. And
Yeah.
Go ahead, Rob.
Well, before we get into it, I do want to bring up. I think we have a correction from last week.
Oh,
actually.
we do have
wow.
a correction
Now that-
from
yeah.
last week.
Yeah, a
We
correction
do.
to the correction. Actually, I know Brennan thought I was going to forget this
I
shit.
know you forgot too. I completely forgot too right now.
That's jokes.
I need to go use the restroom, guys.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Brennan gave me a hard time last week because my memory had failed me that I didn't remember how episode 2 started. So after we wrapped the episode,
I
we
don't see
went
how
back
this-
to
I don't see how-
Netflix.
I don't see
Yeah.
We
how-
went back to Netflix and checked the tape. I was right
God
all
damn it,
along.
Brennan.
Check the
I
game
don't-
tape.
I don't feel like this is
Wow.
we're supposed to be talking about episodes 6 through 10.
No, we-
You are like
Wow.
an NFL referee. That's what you are, Brennan.
Right.
You just make bad calls, and then when we go back to the tape, you're like, "See, this is why the refs suck."
Wow.
And I
bro.
ain't gonna lie to you,
know.
I co-signed though.
Yeah, he did. Because you were just Keenan was just like, yeah, I think Brendan's right in this time. But I mean, to be fair, I think I'm probably gonna drop the ball this week. We'll see what happens. But
Wow.
I like how Rob was just like, fuck you, fuck everything you believe in. Oh, but don't worry, guys. This week,
you'll have some opportunities.
it'll be
to
Yeah.
fine. I'll drop the ball.
I appreciate Rob. 'Cause I didn't get to finish the podcast, the episode, but the first half when I heard that, I'm like, Rob, how dare you?
Yeah.
But he
no,
stood
man.
his ground though, and I was like, all right, Rob. I was like,
And Rob stood his ground.
he was just like, maybe. And then, but I had recently watched it, so I knew Rob was white, right? So I was like,
He was white.
He's white. You knew
yeah,
Rob was
I
white.
know he's white. That's prevalent. But yeah, that was. Appreciate you, Rob.
Side note, one of my favorite things about Rob is typically Rob and I spend a lot of time together during weeks. We work together. And I'd say at least 2 words a week I learned from Rob. Like, he'll just be talking to me. And he'll just say shit. Like, what was the other word? Do you remember the word the other day?
I have no idea.
He used some word, and I'm just like, Rob, there's no way, bro. I don't know what you just said.
Yeah,
I don't-
I'm adding that back to
I think
my
I might have even used
vocabulary.
it wrong or something like that. Because I
Wouldn't
remember
matter.
we looked it up and I was like, all right, well, I used it wrong. But
did.
said we all learned something today.
I learned the word that a word sounded like this, and you learned what the word meant.
I think it was cajole.
Yep, that's it.
That was it.
Of course you remember. I knew you
Yeah,
would.
that was it.
Cajole?
Cajole.
What does that even mean?
It's like to convince or something like that.
say convince.
I cajoled you.
I was doing a whole thing at the time where I was faking an HR report on Brennan, so
Yeah.
it was part of the bit.
Well, Rob's initials are
Hilarious.
so
Come on.
here at the company. Rob Transit Pictures is the company. Rob is he does a lot of really good things, but the best part that one of Rob's favorite jobs, I think, is probably his favorite job.
Oh,
while
it's
he's
the
here,
best.
Files his initials. His initials are HR.
That's right.
So he
On
is
the
now the HR department.
HR department.
So anytime there's a complaint, and there's many against me, I am the CEO. There are many against me.
I've fired and rehired everybody in this company.
Yeah,
multiple times.
there's been a lot of reports.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
in those
Especially
reports-
recently.
Yeah, especially recently.
Brennan is easily fireable too. So.
Yeah, he's very.
It's really
extendable.
hard to hire the CEO.
It's true. Well,
I will say that.
mhm.
But let's get in. Episode
Anyway,
6.
we'll get into it. So this episode was a direct pick up off of the cliffhanger after Shinji had gotten his chest caved in by this diamond alien angel that showed up.
Yeah.
And he's getting wrecked, and they immediately bring him back underground, and he's put into the hospital.
full retreat.
Yeah, it's
And
a problem.
And his dad doesn't give a fuck.
Oh no, not at all.
Not a fuck.
He
at
doesn't
all.
give a fuck in none of these battles so far where his son is facing life and death.
He didn't even have a chance. He came up and got smoked. Like
Immediately.
that's he didn't even have a chance to fight. Right when he came in, breastplate gone.
I don't understand why all the angels aren't like that. Like if they can be like that, just like
Right.
destroy every threat within a second, a millisecond.
Yeah.
Like, that angel was serious.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is each of these angels seems to be very different from the
Yeah.
others, and so I mean I don't know if they're mass producing these things or if they're like each one's an individual that has a special power or something. I don't know, but this one has been the deadliest so far, and I think even afterwards, this has been the hardest one they faced so
Yeah.
far. And so they figure out once they get Shinji underneath, like this thing not only has the strongest shield that they've ever come up against, but anything that shows up in its firing range, it immediately vaporizes.
Yeah.
And then it starts tunneling under the earth to try and get to them.
Yeah,
They're
there's
like, this thing's going to breach all of our defenses in like 9-10 hours.
Yeah, it doesn't look like any of the other angels, does it? It's
No.
kind of like this like weird kind of like 360 diamond shape.
Yeah,
type
it's like
thing.
a cube, like some sort of diamond. But because the rest of them are all sort of like creatures.
Yeah,
but this
yeah.
one definitely seems
Fucking
like a ship.
tesseract.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah,
it does.
Yeah.
And so they come up. They try to test a few things while Shinji's out for the count. The Miss Misato, I think is her name, the Shinji's drunk ass roommate.
Captain.
She's a drunk, but when she's on the job, she's doing work. So they decide to try out a few things, including
my
like
favorite
Functional
character.
alcoholic.
yeah,
If you can get the job done,
functioning. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not tripping.
So they try a few things where they bring out like a parade float or like a giant balloon of an Eva and wheel that out. It gets vaporized. They're like, all right, well,
Immediately.
let's try this like self-propelled like tank on train tracks and see if that can shoot it. That immediately gets vaporized, and they're like, all right,
I thought that was smart.
that was smart.
Yeah, it's like what they were doing was saying, let's test how this thing works because
Yep.
obviously it destroyed our Eva immediately.
Yeah.
So we're trying to fix that and get our pilot's mental state back together.
Yeah.
And during that time, we have to figure out what the capabilities of this thing is because we already know one thing. It's digging.
It's digging, and it's
Yeah.
coming in, and hand-to-hand, the close-up combat, which the Evas thrive on, is not an option at this point.
Non-existent.
Right.
It's too powerful.
So the plan that they decide to come up with is, and this became much more clear over these next few episodes, but Nerve and I think it's the UN like exist on this planet right now at the same time. Nerve's sort of like its own private thing. UN is like the global governments, and there's a rivalry going on between these two.
It seems like there's a rivalry between Nerve and everybody.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Nobody likes Nerve because it feels like Nerve was made 15 years ago during the last the attack of the angels, like the second impact or whatever.
Yeah.
They created Nerve, and then nothing happened for 15 years. So I'm assuming you can imagine it was probably like this. They created Nerve because they put a bunch of money into it because there was a lot of fear. And then, a decade goes by, and they're like, well, there hasn't been another angel attack. How come that agency is getting all this money, has all this power, has all this control, has all this influence when there's no real threat again?
Yeah.
So, like, it became like a contentious thing where people are like, well, we should be feeding people, not like trying to stop something that we don't even know when it's going to come or what it's going to be. Let's just, deal with now instead of always worried about tomorrow. And those kind of arguments happen a lot in government, as you guys know.
Yeah.
So that's probably what was happening. And then during that time, it's like, the different personalities are rubbing people different way. You can see there's strong personalities in front in charge of Nerve. And now it's like as this actual thing comes up, it's like this is a real problem. All these other agencies that are like, here's our government's, Navy, here's our army, here's all these kind of things. They feel insufficient. Like just like the Navy, they don't feel good. Like they're like, my job is to protect, but I have no power here.
Yeah. I feel like
But that's the thing about it. They act like they do. And that's the annoying part. Like all those
It's human nature,
divisions.
though.
they
What's
like,
human
we got it. We don't need
it's
you.
human
Like
nature.
you clearly
I
do.
think it's that, but it's also like the big dick challenge.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, whose dick is bigger? And then the Navy
Nerve's dick is bigger.
Yeah,
Yes, every
clearly.
time.
And
Not
it's
even
like they're
close.
trying to be like, yo, we're always a defense team, and now they are. But I also think it's part of what you said, but I think it's also, too, like, they kind of do what they want to do. Like,
Yeah.
they're not being told too much, or at least they're doing their kind of their own thing, and they're going their own
You're
way.
getting the autonomy.
And when you're giving somebody money, that's not how shit works.
Yeah. And it
And
and
they
it
want-
turns out that like whenever there is like an emergency, it's Nerve's like it's their authority that supersedes everybody.
Everybody,
Yeah.
But they're also the only ones that get it done.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
For,
When-
for good reason.
Yeah, in the first
Yeah.
5
Yeah.
episodes, you guys remember before they ever launched an EVA,
Yeah.
they had a full-scale military, like everything. They dropped a nuke on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, wow, that didn't do anything.
Yeah.
So what do we do? Oh, no, we're all going to die. Or give
Turn
me
to
the
Nerve.
power.
Yeah.
I'm here because I am Nerve. This is what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
Let's put this 14-year-old child into this machine and save us all.
I mean, their plan sounds like a little. It sounds bad from the outside. but,
Yeah, I get it. But if
I
all
get the
else fails, I
skepticism,
mean,
right.
yeah, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So Misato launches into this plan. She's like, all right, well, we don't really have anything that could hit this thing, but there's this experimental, basically giant sniper rifle that the UN
real
has
gun.
been working on that I think we could just confiscate that. She's like, well, let's just borrow it, quote
Yeah.
unquote, and take that. And so they show up and they should give them the proper forms, serve them the papers, and they're like, wait, you're just gonna take this thing? And like, then the EVA just like lift the roof off the place.
Yep.
They're like, yep,
Yeah.
I'm here to take it. so they take this sniper rifle. They're like, how are we gonna power it? And they're like, we're gonna take all of the power in
All
Japan,
the power.
Yep.
Tokyo 3.
plug it into this thing. They put out like the public service announcement, like
I actually really enjoyed that part of the show.
Yeah, I thought that
I
was
enjoy that the show actually is like, okay, like we really need some real power.
Yeah.
How would we go about doing this? Like, well, you got to let people know they're going to turn the power off. So let's do that. Like, they actually function as a government. And there's like systems that they actually hold true to in the show. I like that.
yeah. And so while that's going on, they're getting everything together. Shinji wakes up in the hospital, and Ray's there next to his bed, and she's just like, all right, here's your orders, and throws him down on the bed. Here's your uniform. Get dressed. We got to be there in like 5 hours or something like that. And he's like, what the fuck just happened? He starts to have another like kind of crisis where he doesn't want to
He's
get back into
weak.
it. He is. And
You're
Ray,
weak.
again, to her credit, is just like, all right, I'll do it then.
Right.
Yeah, and just I'd like to also point out the flip of circumstance here. You do remember the first time in the first episode, the first time we saw her, she was in the
fucked up.
hospital bed.
Yeah.
She was way more messed up than he is.
Yeah.
And she still agreed to get in there, and he's over there just like, I'm psychologically damaged by what just happened. And
Yeah.
she's
Dude's
just
a
like,
bitch.
She's been
I don't
bossed.
think he is.
No. Yes. 100%.
Yeah.
I'm just saying
100%.
though, like, so you telling me when you were 14 years old, after you get put into this giant robot, you launched into the surface to fight the thing that can literally eradicate humanity, which you weren't trained to do, and you get blown the F up immediately.
She did
You're gonna
too.
be, but she didn't. She didn't get blown up. She got beaten by her own machine.
Yeah.
But
he got
she-
beaten by an alien that's here to
He
conquer
still got
all
fucked
humans.
up.
I'm actually going to side with Ice on this one
Yeah.
only because he had his moment to walk away.
Yeah.
He had that moment on the train tracks, and he was just like, nah, you know what? I'm going to
I'ma
do
go.
this.
And
then to
he-
wake up in the hospital bed, like, this is exactly what you signed up for a
Right.
second time.
I 100% agree with
Yeah.
you, but then we also have to point out he's 14.
Yeah. I
Okay,
mean,
but you made that decision.
Yeah.
And you
You're
came back.
14.
You made a big boy, grown man decision. You
But
were
that doesn't
grown
make
man.
that
Yes.
doesn't make you a grown
Hey,
man.
man,
You're
You make
14.
you look at
in
especially
this
in
new
the
world,
right?
how they living underground.
Look, I
14
think-
years old makes
look,
you a man.
all I'm saying-
you 16 at
especially
your
especially in
you,
the
you a grown woman. You a grown man in this new world.
All I'm saying is that I agree with you guys that he should do it.
yeah.
But I also am just pointing out that he's a 14-year-old kid.
Okay,
So,
I
if
mean,
he's
so
scared,
was
that's
Mob,
understandable. But
so
does he?
was, you
does
know,
he
same
bought-
as Deku,
okay, but
same
there
as Naruto.
Yeah,
like,
okay, but look,
this
he
is
had a
just the
moment-
anime world.
He had a moment.
If you're in
That's
the anime
real.
world, the main, the main protagonist
gotta be
is a
All
young
I'm
14
saying,
person.
and a mental
he had a
beast.
moment of hesitation as a human being.
He did.
Did he not show up?
he had
He
a
did.
moment of bitchness.
Right.
a moment of hesitation.
And then Ray
Yeah.
made him realize what a bitch he was being.
And he was like, I
And
gotta
he's like,
step
all right,
up.
fine.
I think what it is too. I think he's seeing women, and he's like, I can't let them outdo me.
Yeah.
If it was another
It's a
dude, he'd be
big,
like,
big thing.
cool. Yeah. He's just like, I think his
I could
ego
see
was
that.
more hurt in a
Yeah.
sense.
I can see that.
That's what
Especially
I'm-
considering the relationship he knows that she has with his dad.
Right.
I was gonna say also, who taught him how to be the man you guys are telling him he needs to be?
He wasn't there. I'm not.
Who's not saying this?
Now you just have an episode of Mario over here.
All I'm
like-
saying, though, is that you
Dr.
guys like
Phil
be a
over
man.
here.
It's like, how would he
Well,
know what a
yeah,
man looks
you're
like?
right.
How would he know how to be
Yeah,
that?
true.
his dad is
Touche.
the equivalent of a bitch ass nigga. It's
So
just
I'm
like,
saying,
he's
what
100%.
if he's from his father? What do you expect him to be?
But his father obviously with the shits because he made nerves. So like he had. he was something. He want the smoke.
He's got a
so-
plan.
Right.
His dad ain't in them robots. But go ahead.
No. So he decides to show up, and then they basically give him the plan, and they're like, "All right, Shinji, you're gonna fire the rifle, and Rei, thank you so much for showing up. You're gonna be the living human body shield
You're right.
that just stands in front of him in case it
Sacrifice
decides
yourself,
to shoot back." It's like
They make her a shield though. Like
they do make her a shield.
yeah.
They
yeah.
do.
Oh yeah, it's a great one. They're like, yeah, this shield might work. Who knows?
It sort of does. So they're having so when they get the plan and they're waiting for midnight when this operation is going to start, and Shinji and Rei are talking it out, and he kind of asks her like, what makes you want to do this so badly? And she's just like, this is kind of my link to the world. This is my link to humanity. And he kind of has that moment. What do you do it for? This is my link.
Yeah.
I think is what she says.
So it's linked to your father. You know, the
Yeah.
guy that actually supports me.
Yeah.
It's my link to him.
So they get the plan started up. They plug all the power into this rifle, and he's got all this training to center your target, fire, and he misses.
No, he doesn't.
He wings it?
No, what happens is they shoot.
nicks
I
it.
just shoot at the same
No,
time.
he shoots,
Yeah.
and then the
okay.
angel actually fires at the exact same moment,
Yeah.
and it throws off the trajectory of the
I
shot.
see.
So he
Okay.
didn't miss. The angel made him miss.
Well,
Smart angel.
It didn't, because that threw things off very much because they weren't even sure if they were going to be able to get a second shot off.
Yeah.
Right.
And then it starts to shoot back at them. Rei steps in. It's holding the shield blast,
He's
holding
like,
it
boss
down.
move.
Yeah.
Boss.
Shield's melting on
yeah.
her
She's
face.
literally melting. And then he gets off the second shot. That time, it penetrates the shield. It
Boom.
gets through everything, blows up the mountain behind it. Direct hit. And then there's this moment, which actually reflects a lot of the moment between Shinji's father and Rei when Shinji gets out of his Eva and tears the thing open
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
gets
Just like
Rei
his
out
dad.
of there.
Yep.
And,
Like a man.
he
Oh,
does it.
I'm not
Like
saying
father,
he didn't
like
make
son.
a
I'm
man
just saying-
move.
No.
But if you bitch up in the moment, I'm still give you shit.
I'm just saying, how many angels has he killed versus anybody else on that show at the
I mean,
point
he-
where you calling him a bitch?
he still went about it in a bitch way.
I'm just saying,
Even if
how many
Deku,
has he
even
killed?
if Deku fucks somebody up, he's
Yeah.
crying before. Like I said, the fight with Todoroki is like he was a bitch before that, and that
Yeah.
fight made him a man. But
Yeah.
he's still a whiny bitch.
No, he had a weak moment.
No, give him.
I think Brendan sees himself a lot in this person or something like that. I think Brendan will cry and be like, all right, man, let's do it.
I could just understand where he's coming from. Like,
I get it.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
if I
get
got
it, yeah.
blown up inside of a giant robot from a human killing, like a genocide machine,
Yeah.
as the only person that could defend that, like the moment I popped up, it just got blown up, and it's just like I literally get knocked unconscious and hurt. And I wake up and it's like, hey, 14-year-old version of yourself, Brendan. Like, I remember what I was like when I was 14.
A bitch, obviously.
I wasn't mature. I wasn't mature. Like, I wouldn't. How would you feel about? I'm just saying though. Like, think
I'll
about.
be
it.
honest.
I
if
see
that's,
what you're saying.
If that's me, I'm doing stuff in private. I'm not showing
Your
weakness.
hospital bed when you wake up isn't in private.
No, what I'm saying is, at that point, if they tell me what I got to do, I'll be like, I'll just take it. And when everybody leaves, I'll have my moment.
Start punching.
And
But the thing
then
is, they're
I
like,
do
take
Eric
it and
Jr.
come
something.
now. It wasn't like there was no moment though. Keenan, she gave it to him. It's like, let's go now.
All
It wasn't like, hey, take your moment.
And
It's
I ain't gonna
like,
lie to you.
we're
I'll be
leaving.
like, yo, hey, bitch, give me a second. All right?
Right.
I need time.
I need
You
a,
see what the
I
fuck
need
just
a
happened to
minute.
me? Give me a second. Coach runs out. Let's go to work.
vulnerability is considered
going to
strength in
work.
some circles.
I suppose so.
Yeah.
So that was episode 6. Episode 7 was basically Iron Man 2.
Yeah, we
so-
talked about that, didn't we, Rob?
A little bit we did, yeah. So in this episode, they really highlight the rivalry between Nerve and especially the UN, where Misato has to go to this conference with the doctor, and they're basically going to a UN conference where they're debuting this new technology. And they show the world like, hey, we as the UN, we've developed our own robot technology that we think can fight the angels. This one's like remote controlled. It's got a nuclear reactor inside it, so it doesn't need to be powered by the cable. It can be powered indefinitely on its own. I mean, this is going to be better than the Avas, and we don't need to deal with Nerve's bullshit anymore, which, of course, everybody else applauds, but the Nerve people stand up and are just like, okay, you're going to fight an angel with a nuclear reactor in your robot's chest, and there's no pilot inside there in case things go wrong. You don't see how this could possibly be an issue. And they're like, we're going to be fine. Test is tomorrow. You're going to see.
Everybody laughing and shit going in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're having a good time. And
How
Misato,
many times that guy say this is completely safe?
Yeah,
How many
right.
times did he say that? This is absolutely 100% safe.
It's going to
There's
be
nothing
totally safe.
There's nothing to go wrong. It's like,
And then he just
now that
starts
you
going
said
in
it,
on Nerve and like how they fuck stuff up, and he is like, "Bro, we've saved your lives. Like,
Yeah.
fuck wrong with you guys? Like, why are you going
it's
so
like, yeah,
hard?"
But we don't
Yeah.
need to.
Ego,
Our
man.
thing can last for days on its feet.
And something else that we get at the beginning of this episode, which we kind of, I think, surmised already, was that this whole second impact thing is sort of being a kind of a cover-up by the government, and that it wasn't the impact that vaporized Antarctica. It's that something hit Antarctica, the scientists went down and started fucking around with it, and then when they
then
were
it blew
messing
up.
around with it,
Yeah.
that's when it blew up.
Yeah.
And so they didn't want everybody to know that, oh, this whole thing blew up because we were stupid.
Right.
Like,
Of
they-
course.
you know, so there's more mysteries that are coming out. I think another thing that came out in the previous episodes is that the DNA of the angels is actually incredibly close to human DNA. It's like
99.98%.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like super close.
Yeah.
So we're getting a little bit of this like backstory as it's been going. So Misato is sort of like, she seems. She's definitely very skeptical of their plan with this new robot, but she's like, I don't know, maybe it'll work. And the doctor's just like, I got a strong feeling it's not.
Right.
And so they show up at this test the next day, and the robot starts walking, and it seems all good at first, and then all of a sudden it goes completely out of control. It just starts running. The core starts going into meltdown, like some Chernobyl type thing,
Yeah.
which is another show I've been watching, which is fucked up. Anyway,
Yeah.
so
Fucked up.
that starts going on, and they're just
Goddamn.
like, this thing's a runaway robot. It's going towards a city. It's going to go into meltdown, and it's going to kill who knows how many people. We need Nerve to save us.
Right.
Yeah.
People we were just talking shit on.
He talked all this shit.
Yeah.
I was just talking about you, bro, but you looking strong today. I don't know if you've been in the gym, I don't know what it is, but if you could help a brother out.
Pretty much. And so Misato's just like, all right, she immediately is like, let me come up with a plan how we can stop this. And the doctor's just like, I don't know. I think we just let this one go.
You're right.
And they
Right,
can
yeah,
just
let
learn
it
from their
ride.
But how
mistakes.
long? And they were like, how long will it be able to run? They were like, there's a 0.0002% chance it'll stop at some point.
Yeah, maybe
Possibly.
ever.
Yeah.
I don't know. And Misato tries to go about finding whatever the shutdown password is, and then she gets boiled down in the bureaucracy of just like, we gotta call
man.
this guy, gotta call that guy, and eventually gets to some dude on a golf course. It's just like, I can't do this over the phone.
I gotta
Like,
send a letter.
That sounds like,
what?
honestly, that sounds like some government white
That's
man
some
shit.
government
It definitely
ass
does.
That's
shit.
Donald Trump on a golf course right now. I'm like, oh, why do I have to leave what I'm doing right now?
totally.
I think it was again. This for me. I think it really shows how things work.
Yeah.
So it's just like, hey,
Yeah,
this,
yeah.
who has the shutdown codes to this giant secret robot? It's like, shit, I'm not
A
gonna give
nigga
you
playing
that.
golf?
Right.
That's what it sounds like.
much.
Yeah.
And
So
that's
it's-
crazy that a lot of this is synonymous with, and this was made in 95, but this is synonymous with what's going on now. Like, a lot of this stuff still stands true from a
Absolutely.
government perspective, like
Yeah.
how you pointed to and all the bureaucracy that you pointed to, like
Yeah.
that's still a today thing, a present day thing. Like,
Well, I mean, the way that our government's set up, it's always going to be a thing. I mean, that's part of one of the safety measures of our government is that it's not meant to move fast.
Yeah.
It's purposely designed to have things happen slow because the slower things happen, the more you can think about it.
Yeah.
That's how.
And
things like the Patriot
from
Act.
accountability perspective, it's like, all right, who are you? Like, it wasn't me. Like fucking Rick and Morty. He got me into this. Just 'cause he got me into this. Like, it's like,
Yeah.
that's basically how it is.
Passes the buck.
Yeah.
So Misato's just like, all right, fuck it. I'm not waiting around for the permission. We're going to put this plan into action now. She calls up Nerve and gets Shinji on a plane, and they're like, we're going to use the remote control power. Just use the Ava for 5 minutes, and maybe that can get me inside this other robot, and I can shut it down from in there.
Yep.
And as she's on her way out, the guy who knows the password and is waiting for permission is just like, all right, fuck it. Here's the password. I'm not going to wait for it.
It's hope.
And it's hope. And it's like, god damn it.
Oh, my
Yeah.
goodness.
It's like that. By the way, like any hacker that wants to get into that thing is going to figure it out. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
very quickly. It's
Very
like you got to
quick.
throw some special symbols in there,
Some-
some
Little
numbers and exclamation
parentheses.
But I
points.
mean,
Yeah.
how would it feel though on this show? Like, here's a password. It's just like,
Yeah.
it's just like, and it just flashes. Like, all right, cool. Well,
Yeah.
she knows it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't need to know what that password is. Side note: one thing I find really interesting, and I don't remember if it happened right here in this episode or in the next episode. Doesn't really matter.
Mhm.
I find it really interesting how they deploy the Evas from the planes.
Oh yeah, it was
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Because it's
Yeah.
like every time they do that, it's like it seems like they're what 10, 15,000 feet up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like, okay, if you're that high up, you got to have a parachute. And these things just literally just jump out of these things and just land on their
It's
feet.
just- yeah.
Ninja
Yeah, they
land.
just do the Iron Man like fist pound into the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Superhero-
it's like
superhero-
that's
yeah.
That's impressive. No matter how you look at it, that's an impressive machine.
Yeah.
It is.
That's all. I just wanted to point that out. Every time it happens, I'm like, there has to be a parachute. Nope, no parachute. Okay,
No
cool,
parachute.
cool.
So Shinji gets on his job. He's carrying Misato on his back, basically, and he's running up on this thing. They only got 5 minutes, and he runs up, and she jumps inside, and he's just trying to do all he can to hold on to this thing before it runs into the city.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, she's inside, and she puts in the password, and it doesn't work.
Nah, dog.
Yeah.
And she's just like, what the fuck? Somebody tampered with this. Like, that's the only thing. That's the only explanation. So
Yeah.
she immediately is just like, I'm going to have to try and shut this thing down manually. She starts trying to, like, push in these pistons that'll start trying to cool the thing, shut it down.
False move.
Yeah,
And
hell yeah.
I thought, like, I'm like, no way they're going to kill her off. But for a second, I thought,
I was like, oh,
Maybe
shit.
they
I
will.
was looking at how
Yeah.
many episodes in. I'm like, 7 episodes in.
I didn't think so. Yeah, I knew something was going to happen.
Right.
Yeah. Shinji would figure it out or something.
so in the middle of that, miraculously, the system kind of kicks back on and goes into shutdown, and everything's okay.
Yeah.
And they're just like, all right, like, all right, Nerve, like, you were right. This was clearly a bad program. We got to take this back.
Sounds like an X.
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
I'm sorry that you were right about all this.
You were right the whole time. And so they go back to Nerve HQ and they make their report, and the doctor is with Shinji's dad, and she basically says, like, hey, the plan went off when everything went exactly to plan, except Misato went in there and shut things down,
Right.
confirming that it was Nerve that sabotaged this robot from the start.
Yeah.
Yo, man,
Sounds
beef
fast.
runs deep.
Yep,
Yeah.
it does. And so that consolidates their power and makes it so they're still the only ones that has any
That's-
sort of power in this fight against
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Angels.
Trying to make it a monopoly. Motherfucking lives are at stake.
Right.
And they don't care. They're like,
They
no,
give a
we want to
fuck.
be the only savior here. That is some selfish, crazy shit right
Yeah.
there.
I mean, it's not surprising coming from dad.
It's not. I'm
No.
not saying it's surprising at all. It's not surprising. But in this type of situation, we all need to be working together to be strong.
Right.
Yeah, you're trying to be solo. How do we win this shit solo? We can all. I'm pretty sure we can all bring some shit to the table. But I think when you add all those pieces together, people egos come into play and be like, I want to be the boss. Blah 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 blah.
My name is Keenan Baker, and I approve this message.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing. It's just like, with the different parties, that's basically
Yeah.
what it is. If everybody
Yeah.
just came together and stopped fucking being assholes, then we probably can progress a lot further.
And
Yeah.
did we skip the part where he keeps
Possibly.
waking up and
Possibly.
Ross was like, I mean, I'm not going to be 100% on this episode
No.
where Shinji and Ray, he keeps saying how she's a slob. And
Yeah, so
and then like his friends are kind of like, oh, like
Yeah, that was kind of like at the beginning of this episode, like, because it starts off with her, like, waking up 7 a.m., cracking a beer and chugging it, and he's just
Yeah.
like, you're a
I think
fucking
that-
mess.
the reason
Yeah.
why I said this because I think it's kind of important because it shows their relationship.
It
You're
does,
right.
yeah. No, that's fair.
Yeah,
Because they even say it.
Yeah, because they say because he's like, man, she's just nasty, she's a slob, and then they go, bro, you don't understand, like. You get to see the real her.
Right.
Like we're seeing the Instagram version of her. So every
Right.
time we
Right.
see her, she's bad. Oh,
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
hot as hell. Ah. But-
That raised the question though. Assuming that let's assume you find her attractive. I'm not going to ask if you think this cartoon's attractive or not.
Yeah.
But
No,
assuming
she's
that
bad. No, she's bad.
she's thank you, Ice.
She's
I'm
ambitious.
saying-
I like it.
But so I was gonna say, is like, is she worth it? Like, would you be hollering even if you knew the things that he knows?
I think. Well, it depends what type of person you
hold
are.
on, Rob had a real thought there.
Well,
Hold on a
because
second.
it's like, because
You hear that
I think
breath he
they
took?
show in those episodes, like, when she's got her days off, she's turning up for sure. Like,
Right.
she's
Turn
cracking
up.
beers
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
crack of dawn.
Yeah.
But then when she has to go to her conference, she's got business suit on, she's drinking her coffee, and she's ready to go to work. So
Yeah,
she
she does.
takes her work seriously.
Right.
But when she's off the clock, she's fucking off the clock.
That's how a lot of people are. A lot of people
Yeah.
that have like they work in like companies,
Yeah.
they party fucking hard. But when they go to work, they fucking work just as hard.
So
That's
is that a
me-
yes?
That's me. In
I
a
mean,
nutshell.
me personally, I'm not like. I get it. Like, has anybody ever lived with a girl here or lived?
Yes.
With, like,
Yeah,
lived
yeah.
with, like,
Yes.
All right.
Nope.
Brendan's like,
no, I
Brendan's-
have not. Well, I've
So-
lived with my mom and my sister.
Yeah.
So when you get a chance to live with a woman that is beautiful, you get to see that other side of them. You get to see them when they're on their period or whatever like that. You get to see them when they don't shower. You get to see them when like your girl be like, oh shit.
He
Like,
said
you walk
couldn't
you
see
walk
them
in.
on
You
the
might walk in on
period.
your girl doing
Yo,
this.
I'm so sorry, women are watching this. I don't know.
I'm just not being honest.
No,
This is
I
facts.
mean,
This is
you're-
facts.
you're not
And
wrong.
It's
You're
not a
not
shot.
wrong.
It's not a shot at women at all. It's a shot at
No.
men too. Because as men, they get to see that dirty side of you too. My
Yeah.
girl didn't know. Like, I stayed with tissues on me. My nose runs constantly.
Yeah.
And she was like, she told me, she was like, man, I would have had to make some decisions if I knew from the beginning that she gonna have tissues all over our fucking house. You know what I'm saying? But you get to see that side of a person.
That's
Do you
real.
want to?
That's real.
Do you want to stay with somebody or
Yeah.
not? And
Yeah.
for me, I see her side and I love her more because of that. So I think when they hit shut the fuck up. When they hit
Yay.
Shinji when they hit Shinji with that, I think he took a moment and was like, damn, like she's cool to be this vulnerable in front of me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes, Brendan.
Yes,
God
yes,
damn
for
it.
me, yeah. I mean,
Well, their relationship is much more familiar,
Right.
like
That's
familial than
big,
romantic.
Right.
little sister.
Yes.
Still-
I think so.
So everybody goes a yes.
I think they're more of a big sister, little
Cameron
brother
says
sort of
yes.
thing.
you think so? I
Yeah.
mean,
I don't think he's into her like that.
No, he's not. He's
No.
into.
If she
he's
come up
into
to him
the-
trying to throw a bike, he gonna take
No,
it.
I want to keep it moving because we still have many people to talk about and many things because
That's true.
he's definitely into somebody.
He very much is into a couple people.
Right.
Somebody-
But
he got
she's
it
not
going.
one of them.
She is
Yeah,
not
she
one
is
of them.
not at all.
No.
So this next episode does start out with Misato and Shinji on a helicopter with his two buddies because they get to come along on the secret government mission for some reason.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. I was like, what's
Yeah.
two homies from school and shit.
Yeah.
Right.
I was like, what?
I was sure sitting there like,
this makes
what
no
the fuck
sense.
is going on? Why are they just the homies?
Does that show you that he's that much of a boss? Like, yo, my two homies is they love
I
to see
guess
what I
so.
do and shit.
Right.
So they
Yeah.
gonna come along. For
And
this.
not only they coming on the secret mission, let him bring his camera. Don't
Yeah,
Right,
he gets to
let-
record the whole thing.
let him bring a camera. It's cool.
Damn,
God,
bro.
this shit made no sense.
This
but go
dude was
ahead.
like the first YouTuber.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
So they show up and they're basically watching this whole the whole Pacific UN fleet as they're transporting the third Eva back to Japan.
Impressive.
With its pilot, who
Yep.
is this German girl, whose
And-
name I do not remember. It's
and
like
let's
a
welcome
Asuka.
something. And
Asuka.
gentlemen, I think this is the moment that we can, as a collective group, welcome sexism into the show.
Absolutely.
It had been missing, and here it is, guys. Anime never disappoints.
No.
Yeah, yeah.
Is this, we were like, wow, this show seems to be the most least. Oh,
Yeah.
I knew it was coming. You
Yeah, it
can't
had to.
anime can't go 10 episodes without
Bruh.
sexism.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
impossible,
for sure.
dog.
she shows up and it's like instant. Like instant. They were like, oh, she looked like she developed earlier than other women. Like,
Yeah.
she's Western. Like, what's
Hold
up?
on, you know what? Real side tangent, not tangent, but just to the people that's listening. If you can find us an anime that doesn't have sexism in it at all, please let us know. Drop a comment. I want to know.
Yeah.
I actually want to know if there's an anime out there with no sexism in it.
Because there is.
I mean, there are.
Does Dragon
I
Ball Z have
yeah.
sexism?
No,
Yeah,
there's one. It's
with
the,
like Bulma.
Spirited
Oh
Away.
yeah.
Is Spirited Away is an anime movie. There's no sexism in it.
Yeah, true. I mean, like
Not a
there's-
movie though. I guess I want to
I
keep
mean,
it
it's
as
a series. Like
a
all
series.
his what's his name? What's the guy's name who did Spirited Away? I should know this. But either
No, I
way,
know, I'm blanking
okay.
on it now. We're fucking. We're trash.
Okay.
We're
we
terrible.
should know that he's one of the greatest
trash.
geniuses. But either
I
way,
don't honestly. I don't know any creators' names. To be super honest with you,
you're,
You
I-
watch anime.
I just I
You're gonna
damn
say
near
it,
know
Brendan, I'm gonna
the
kick
Dragon
myself.
Ball
Oh,
Z.
we're gonna get
animated.
killed.
But like, just to because
I'm
I
just
remember
being
watching,
real. I don't. I can
Yeah.
talk. I can talk you up and down about the series. I can talk you up and down about Naruto.
it's
but
Hayao
I-
Miyazaki.
Yeah, Miyazaki. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that guy, like, he didn't do it.
He didn't, but because I was even going to say like Brotherhood, I thought was
Brotherhood
really-
did a good.
But
Yeah.
like even then, they had like a bunch of scenes with like Winfrey in the fucking
Yep.
bathtub.
No,
and
I
I'm like,
mean, there's a scene. I just watched it again the other day because I just love Full Metal. And then
Yeah.
what's it called when Mustang was lighting up Lust?
yeah,
Yeah.
He lit up. He's like, "Oh, I knew I can get you on your knees."
yeah.
That shit was that was a cold ass line, but that was like, damn.
Yeah,
She's
damn.
like bent over doggy style.
right.
yeah.
Attack on
I
Titan.
mean, what's the name? Armstrong too.
Attack
She-
on Titan.
they
Yeah, I
didn't-
guess
Attack on
that's-
Titan.
Attack on Titan's actually.
I
Attack
don't
on
watch
Titan.
that trash.
Well, I'm saying
so
though, if you watch Attack on
I
Titan,
don't know.
You never watched Attack on Titan at all?
I watched it in the beginning, and I hated it, so I stopped watching it. It's fucking garbage.
Yes.
I can't say it's garbage.
I started watching the new episodes recently. But either way,
Yeah.
I'll just say Attack on Titan. I can't think of an instance in Attack on Titan because Attack on Titan
might be true,
is a
actually.
show that is like it's pretty much about death.
I mean, I guess
that's pretty much
technically
it.
everybody's naked.
Yeah, I was just about to
so
say that the Titans be
Technically-
ass.
But it's
Me.
nothing. But it's not sexual. So that's not sexism.
It's
Nobody-
titty.
nobody-
It's titty muscles.
nobody's slapping a titty in there.
No, but it's just
It's a
like there's
slap,
nothing
yeah.
sexual about it though. Like the thing is, what makes
That's
it
true. I
sexist
get- yeah,
is
that's
that they're
true.
sexualizing it. So it's just like if this is just who you are and there's nothing sexual about it, like yeah, it's a woman. That doesn't mean you're being sexist. You know what I'm saying? Because
Right,
they have men
right.
that are doing the same thing. They have men Titans running around with nothing, and they don't,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
they don't zoom in on their dongs or you know what I'm saying? Like they don't do
They
anything.
don't
like
have
What
it.
about?
I mean, but
what
they've been-
about
They don't.
Mob Psycho? Is that sexist? I don't think there's nothing on there.
We haven't got to season 2 yet, though. At least I haven't.
I mean, he got through 10 episodes though.
I don't know. I have to think about that, but I don't think so. Not off the top of my head.
yeah.
But I mean, even before Asuka shows up, they've been sexualizing Misato this whole
Oh,
time.
yeah, for
they
sure.
have been.
Yeah,
They-
yeah,
every
yeah,
time
yeah.
they
But
have
it's
her
been
bend
light.
over, and they purposely do like we'll get to that at the end. But they had it's like real shots how girls really look when they bend over with T-shirts like that.
Yeah,
like they did
yeah.
They purposely drew that shit
On
to
a
make it look like
14-year-old,
on
On
a
a 14-year-old,
yeah,
for sure.
like come on.
You know
I
what?
didn't
Now that
look.
we on
I
this
didn't
subject,
look.
you know what really pissed me off about the Broly movie is when I forgot her name, but
Oh,
she
girl,
was
she
looking,
kept bending over. And
She
they,
was how that made me so mad.
it was
Yeah.
unnecessary.
especially when
shots
they
in
got
that movie.
when she was
Yeah.
watching Broly fight Vegeta and Goku for the first time
From the ship?
and then
Yeah.
from the ship, and and they just kept it there.
And then they had
Yeah.
old dude kind of like looking at her at an angle. Like,
they had
I
that,
don't
and
know
they,
why this is happening.
and they stayed on that shot for at least like half a minute, and I was like, "Come on, bro! Like,
Yeah.
what y'all doing?"
Yeah.
You know what they're doing.
I mean,
There's,
Of
bro, you
course.
got to feed your core, man.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Throw the red meat to the masses.
Anyway, so all these guys are basically making that exact sound that Keenan was just making over this girl
Yeah.
as her skirt gets blown up.
Yeah,
and
her
she
skirt
slaps
literally gets
him.
blown up. And because the wind blows her skirts up,
Yeah.
her skirt up. And they were like, oh, wow, your skirt. Whap. She just
Whap.
slaps every single one of them.
I don't think
Price
Shinji should have
of
got
admi-
slapped.
Price
of
of
it?
admission.
slapped her with her vagina.
And then he's like, "All right, fine. Like, I'll show you mine." She's like, she slaps him
Slapped
again.
him.
She's like,
Yo,
"I don't see
why
that
would
shit."
you
He
do that?
wins. He wins the most boss moment ever. He's like, I didn't ask to see this. I didn't want to be a part of this show. But if we giving out shows, welcome to the
Whoa.
Dawn Show, girl. What's up?
Yo, let me tell you something. You gotta be confident in your flaccid game.
Right.
You pull down the flaccid like,
Well,
let's
I mean,
go
maybe,
then.
maybe he wasn't flaccid. He just got a show. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, maybe. I
Yeah,
guess
maybe.
that's true.
You never know. But I
That's
agree,
a quick.
Keenan.
That's a quick turnaround. Shit.
Yeah,
Hey,
that-
bro, he's 14. 14. The wind blows
mean,
the right way, and you're just
You-
like, woo!
this is facts. Now that is facts about
That's
being
true.
14.
That's true. That's true.
The chalk hit the board the right way. You like,
Oh,
oh,
man.
yeah.
Oh,
That's
damn it! I heard the
There
sound
you go.
again.
So they're on the ship, and
I don't miss that.
Ahsoka is not at all impressed with Shinji. She's just like, this is the pilot that I've heard so much about. This is the
Yeah.
dude that merged with his Eva the first time. He's
It's
just
like,
got a
I'm sorry,
40%.
girl. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, girl. Did you defeat some angels?
yeah, right.
Have you done it?
But he
All
didn't
right.
even step up for himself.
No.
He doesn't
He's
need
a
to. Would you need to at that point?
Well, he doesn't need to because she hasn't done shit, and she clearly has an inferiority complex at this
Fact.
point.
Hard.
Immediately.
Hard.
He was like, "How did you sync with 40? Have a synchronation?
Synchronation?
Yeah, with a 40%.
Yeah.
Because Ice doesn't read books.
Right.
No, he doesn't. He's an
When we go
athlete.
back to
Not-
that.
He's
yeah,
an
not-
athlete. He don't need these books.
Not
Big
about
words.
sports. Not about sports. Damn right.
Bro, 5 letters or less per word. That's what I got for you.
Oh,
And
my
I got
God.
5 letters for you, bitch.
So
Keep it
they're
simple,
all
Ice. Keep it simple.
so they're all on the ship, and they're transporting this Eva across the ocean. And UN is not feeling having Nerve on their ships at all. And they're like, "While you're on our ships, we're in charge. You step down." And of course, in the middle of this, an angel attacks. So, and Nerve is like, "Well, let us put this Eva out. Like, we brought our equipment because that's what the Navy's all pissed about.
Yeah.
It's like you brought all this fucking plug equipment with you. You're not going to be using it here. So I don't even know why you brought that with you." And they're like, "Well, an angel shows up, so let's get it out there." Like, no, we got this. Let's fire on it. Of course, it does nothing.
Nothing. They're like, we know this doesn't work. They're like, but we have these guns.
Yep.
Have you seen these ships?
Oh, and just quick thing. This is what we're about to get into. We didn't say the last time with Ray. That was actually the first time. Didn't they have 2 Evas fight together?
Fight at the same time, yeah. Out
Yeah.
on the field.
And
Yeah.
then we're gonna get about some action in
Wait
this
a
one.
second. Hold on.
Yeah, that was the first time.
Synchronation is not a fucking word.
Synchronized.
Yeah, hold on.
Ice-
You trying to come for
Ice-
me?
Ice- yo.
Synchronation is not a fucking word.
Ice
so
is
you
Googling-
literally to the 5-letter
literally
word.
Googled it.
Oh,
He
my
Googled it.
Yeah,
That's
hell
so
yeah.
funny. I
What
was
was my
so
advice? Ice,
I
what
was
my
thinking in
advice
my
after
head,
that?
and
I
I'm
said,
like,
keep it simple.
I'm like, wait a second. I know
I was
synchronation
like, Ice.
is not
I
a
said,
fucking
keep it
word.
simple. Did I not say it after that? I
But
was
you
like,
said
Ice, keep it
you
simple.
said synchronation. I'm like,
I was like,
don't
if you gonna
think
fuck it up
synchronation's
right.
Not a fucking. You didn't correct me right.
Yo.
That's twice.
I
That's
did.
twice your correction was wrong.
Oh,
Hey,
shit. Hey, Brennan.
I have never claimed to be all that.
Brennan
I
out
have
here
never
fact
claimed
checking with the wrong facts.
Right.
So
Are we good? I was saying,
You
right?
good, Ice?
anyway,
Yeah, I'm good. I was like, I know that ain't no fucking word.
so
Ice read you guys. He did good.
so the UN can't make a scratch against this
Synchronation.
angel, and Asuka's just like, all right, cool. Like, not only am I going to handle this problem, but I'm going to make sure that Shinji can see what I can fucking do. So you're coming along with me. Take this suit with boobs on it. You're putting this on and getting in the ship with me. So they
Don't
get,
look.
yeah, right. So they get into the Eva, and even before they do, she's just like, you see this Eva? This was the one that was actually what the design it was supposed to be. This is the perfect Eva form. You may not like it, but this is it. So let's get in here. here and like fight this thing. So they jump into the they don't jump into the ocean at first. She's trying to hopscotch along these fucking battleships.
Right.
I don't know how she's not sinking them as she does
right.
it.
Yeah, and also too, she's at first they can't even start it up or get going because he's like, you need to think in German. He was like, oh, what? He's
What?
like,
What?
fuck it, Japanese, and she changed everything to Japanese.
Like, why didn't you just switch it to that in the first place?
And why
Like,
did
why
they both
be
need
an
to be in the
asshole?
cockpit?
Because she
Yeah, I
is
don't
because
know.
she
No,
wants
the-
you to see it.
Yeah, she's like, I
She's
want you
trying to
see-
be like, watch this shit.
Yeah, this is how you really do some work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because she
But
knows
also with
who
them
this guy
being
is.
in there, both of them being in there, it helps it because it's more, the pilot is pushing it more. So if you got somebody who,
Yeah.
has more synchronicity with the Eva, then it can work better.
Yeah, because I mean that's the thing is when when Shinji had the other two guys in his pilot or in his pod the other episode, they said that it started to desynchronize. So that was a whole thing. But when they're in there and they eventually get knocked into the water, and of course the whole fucking thing shuts down. It can't operate underwater. It doesn't have the right like outfit or whatever, and they're basically stuck under there. And they're like, "What the fuck are we gonna do?" They're like, "Well, we could try to use it basically as a fishing lure."
Yeah.
And they try to lure the angel to bite onto the Eva, and the plan is they're going to start reeling it in, and then when they can have the Eva try to force the mouth open. When the mouth's open, they'll kamikaze two of their evacuated ships into the mouth of this thing,
Wait.
and hopefully cause it to explode.
Didn't also too the guy that I forgot her name. Girl with
That's true. There is this whole other thing
I
going
have
on.
a favorite character, guys.
Oh my God, you would like this Me Too motherfucker. Come on.
I have a favorite character. I just think he's funny. Like
shit.
he's
funny,
comic
but
relief.
he's
So it's like,
awful.
all right. So when the new girl, the German girl, shows up, she comes with the guy that's like her. What's her name?
He's like an escort.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
like her.
yeah.
Yeah, her escort, like the adult that looks after her.
Guardian. Yeah.
And he's the guy who has history with the what's her name? The girl that's
Captain. I just call it Captain.
Captain, the girl that's with our
Yeah,
protagonist.
it's like
Right.
His watching person, his escort has history with her escort.
Yeah.
And he shows up, and this dude is hilarious. Like, as soon as she sees him, she freaks out, and then he shows up on the boat. As soon as shit starts going bad, he is literally on a jet. And
well, because they
outta
tell him
here.
like, yo, this ain't
Outta
looking
here.
good. He was like, all right, and then he goes, hey, I gotta go check some shit real quick. I'll be right back. And they're like, cool. She's like, oh, what the fuck? That motherfucker ain't coming back.
He jumps on a jet
Yeah.
and dips.
But this guy
was
is also on some secret shit because he was on the phone with Shinji's dad, I think.
Yeah.
Just being
Yeah.
like, I
Yep.
have the real delivery.
Yep.
And his dad's just like, all right, like, if you got to get out of there, fucking bail.
Fuck my
because-
son.
Yeah.
You
Again.
bring
Fuck the Eva,
Yeah, right.
even. Like,
Yeah.
to hell with it. Like, we'll figure it out. What
All
you
I'm
have is the
saying-
real shit.
All
Yeah.
I'm saying, though, this dude is funny.
Granted, he had to do something to even earn that right to,
Well, I'm saying I think
Yeah.
he could be either he's the greatest good or the greatest bad. There's not going to be much in between with him when it comes to the end of this.
No, I don't
Yeah,
think so.
yeah.
But for now,
Yeah, so he gets
that
on the
good,
plane and
good.
dips, and so they get this plan into action, and it goes off pretty well. They're able to reel it in. The pilots are able to synchronize with the Eva in such a way that they say they reach the highest. Like,
yeah.
can you hit me with that word again?
Synchronicity.
There we go. the highest synchronicity they've had in any sort of Eva pilot ever. And so the mission is successful, and they get everybody on board. And there's obviously still some contention between Shinji and Asuka, but back in Japan, I think what's the guy's name, like Ryoma or something like that.
Yeah.
He shows up and he's just like, all right, here's the real delivery, and he opens it up, and they say it's Adam, the first man,
Yeah.
in some like embryo form or something like
Yeah.
that. So we don't know what the fuck we're looking at this point.
Yeah.
And that's what the episode ends on. This next one, well, actually, the episode ends on with what's her face. They're back in school, and they're like, oh, thank God we don't have to see that girl again. Then it
Right.
turns out she's the new
Hey,
transfer.
guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's the new girl in school. The next episode, I think this one starts out with another angel attack, right? And they both get deployed. Ava's 1 and 2.
Yeah.
With Ryoma and Shinji, and they're out on the field, and I was pretty excited to see two battle-ready Evas get into it.
Yeah.
And
Right.
she's just like, all right, what we're gonna do is we're gonna trade off attacks on this thing. All right. So, and then Ryoma's like, I'm gonna go first, and immediately jumps out there, cuts this thing in half, and is just like,
That's how
job
you
well
do it,
done.
yeah.
Bitch,
That was
that's how you
gangsta, though.
do
It
Yeah,
was pretty
gangsta,
fucking
yeah.
cool.
It
I was
wasn't-
like, that was tight.
It wasn't
Yeah.
smart, but it was
Turns
gangsta.
out, no, not
Yeah.
so smart.
Not at all.
Because it's one of those things where it splits in half, and then now there are two of them,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
And they got fucking wrecked.
Yeah, they cut away from it, and then they cut back, and like both of the fucking Evas are
Feet up.
upside down,
Yeah.
feet up, knee deep in the ground.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Head down,
That's a
feet
good way to-
up. That's where you get fucked up. You know what's funny?
That was
She's
good.
Oh, thank you, appreciate it. Made it up on the spot. It's funny. I feel like she's gonna be kind of like the Vegeta, but his crush.
Yeah.
Because she's a woman in this. But
Absolutely.
she's kind of like the
Asuka.
Vegeta in that because she's angry already. She's out the gate, and she's already trying to take over and taking the lead. That's what Vegeta. That's a Vegeta move right there.
Yeah, that is.
I go first, bitch. Pow,
Yeah.
and then go after him or
Just
whatever.
like
Like
What's
that.
interesting too is that she definitely seems interested in the other pilots. Obviously Shinji, but she's like, he's not shit.
Yeah.
But let me meet this other pilot because I think the episode starts with them in school,
They,
right?
Yeah, they
Yeah,
just
yeah.
continue from her.
Turns out
yeah.
she's super popular. Everybody
Yep.
wants to know about this new German
'Cause they-
girl and
they
blah
just
blah
find
blah.
her pretty and stuff, and everybody's literally following her.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's
She has a bunch
this
of
is
like
a-
love notes in her
oh,
locker.
yeah.
But that's what happens when a new girl transfers to school. That's what always happens. It's like, because it's like, who is she?
Yeah.
Right.
We done seen all this before. We don't.
Yeah.
I'm
You ever
used to
isn't it
this.
funny though? It's like as a guy, like the new guys come and it's just like, oh,
Well, no,
Yeah,
no.
pretty-
If a pretty boy comes, like I remember being in high school and seeing it both ways. When like
Right.
the guy came, all the girls was like, he's fine. We used to be like, hey man, what
What's
about?
up? Yeah, hey.
Still here, motherfucker.
Right.
I ain't go nowhere.
So when she came in, I was just like, that reminded me of fucking high school.
this is right.
immediately.
Yeah, this is facts.
And of course, the fucking nerd is cashing in on all these pervy pictures he's like taken from the peeping tom perspectives and
Yeah.
like girls changing the locker room. This nerdy kid is basically making child porn and selling
Yeah,
it in the
yeah.
high school.
Yeah.
After school,
goddamn.
but Ahsoka finds Rey and is just like, "Hey, I'm the other pilot. You're the other pilot. We should be friends." And Rey is like, "For what?"
Right.
Yeah.
I'll be your
Why?
friend if I'm ordered to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if we have
I'm
to.
about business.
Yeah, pretty much. So anyway,
But
back
it's
to-
so funny for somebody to be about so much business. She still, to Brendan's point, hasn't done shit. Like,
she's waiting for her turn up because
Yeah.
there's any time that there's just like somebody else doesn't want to do it. She's like, "All right, put
Right.
me
She's
in."
about it.
She's
Master
100%.
P about it.
Yeah.
about it. That's just. I think it's not even a her thing. It's more so of her Eva is the Type 0, so she
Yeah.
has the prototype. So they're still kind of scared to use it. So they're just like, all right,
Yeah, and that's true.
Yeah.
So they, what ends up happening is Nerve reads them, the two pilots, the riot act. They're like, "You embarrassed us. We look like fucking idiots. We had to ask the UN of all people to nuke this thing, and it's stopped it for some time. It's basically stunned this angel. So we
6
got 6 days to
Yeah.
figure out what the fuck
I
we're gonna
thought
do."
I thought that was really dumb.
That was really convenient.
Yeah.
That,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just really convenient for the writing's sake for what's about to happen. But I mean,
how do you stun something for 6 days but don't
that's
kill
to
it?
regenerate.
because they've dropped,
Yeah.
because they've dropped nukes on these things before, and
That's
it
my
was
point.
not a problem. I
Right.
mean,
yeah,
the
it's like
only
they
thing,
regenerated in hours before.
So you just
Yeah.
contradicted your own writing in a sense.
the only thing that I can think of is because it's split in half. Maybe
Yeah,
it's
I was gonna,
weakened.
and that's what I was gonna say too. Is that the one thing that we can say about these angels is that they're all completely different.
Yeah.
That's what I was
so
thinking.
Their powers are different.
I
So
like
maybe
that
the
a lot,
first one
too.
was like a hyper regenerative one, because it did show that.
Yeah.
And this one is like, no, I can split into two, but my regeneration powers, because of that, are much slower.
Yeah.
So that's a possibility, but of course they have no business in even attempting to explain that.
No. And the plan they decide that they come up with is like, all right, what we need to do is get this thing back into its one form, but if we can destroy it in this like synchronized way, everything exactly happening at the exact same time, then we can kind of overpower its splitting ability or whatever, and then that'll be able to destroy it. But to be able to do that, we need the pilots to be 100% synced up. So you guys got to figure out how to get along, and which is a tall order because Ahsoka moves in with Shinji, and they're immediately like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Even how she
here?"
moved in, he didn't know. He was like, "Yo, what the fuck? Why are
Yeah,
all these
Misato.
DHL
Yeah,
boxes
she's
right
like,
here?"
"Oh,
Like,
you didn't
right.
get the notice. You're fired. Like,
Right.
get the fuck out of my apartment."
Right, and he
Yeah.
was like, "Get the fuck out of here."
Yeah.
Mhm.
So they come up with the plan, and Misato's like, "All right, so we need to practice these synchronizing movements." Basically, she breaks out like Twister/DDR
Yeah,
to
yeah.
try to get them to practice. And she's like, "We're gonna come up with a fight that we can choreograph to the song. So what you guys are gonna do is." We're going to come up with this routine so you can time it out to this song exactly. And you've got like 90 seconds to pull it off.
And it's crazy too is that they just took him out of school for 6 days. They're just like,
Yeah.
"Hey, fuck school."
I don't think that's crazy. Like the world,
Yeah.
National
I
security.
don't even know why school's a thing right now.
But that's what
In this
even what
world.
she was saying. It
Yeah,
was just
Asuka was
like,
like, why do I
school's not
even
a
know
thing.
this?
It's
Yeah.
not even like
Yeah, this
she don't
shit's
even like
stupid.
school. She's like, "Fuck school."
She's like, I graduated.
Take
from
him out
Where am
for
I,
6
yeah,
days.
where am I
Yeah.
going? What? With my degree?
Right.
What? The fuck?
I'm a pilot.
Yeah, because they show up. It's like the school, their class captain plus the two buddies show up
Class
with all the
rep, yeah.
homework. The class rep, yeah.
Yeah.
And they show up and they open the door and they're both in like cutoffs or
Yeah,
whatever, and like
Yeah.
crop tops or
Flash
whatever.
dance or something.
And they're like, "What the hell are you doing?" And they kind of show that these guys are obviously struggling to synchronize. And
They're speaking in synchronicity.
they've
That's again. You fucked up
I
again.
did that for you.
Oh
Ice.
my god.
but
I literally did that for
I
you.
know.
But it's funny because they have this whole routine going, and Asuka's just like, "This is fucking impossible. All right, this is stupid." And they're like, "All right, Ray, why don't you step in and see how you can do it?" And Ray and Shinji are immediately in sync.
Boom.
And
Yep.
she's just like, "All right, fuck
Bye,
you,
bye,
fuck
bye.
you, fuck you. I'm out."
quit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She straight does that.
But then she kind of doubles down and is like, "All right, we can figure this out. I can be better than anybody else. I'm clearly the best pilot. I pilot number 2. Let's fucking do this
And
thing."
then Shinji had to go and get her.
Yeah,
'Cause she was in there getting snacks and shit. She went
Yeah.
to the store.
She was
she's
pissed.
gonna buy ice cream. Let's be real.
yeah.
Yeah.
She was gonna eat her feelings.
Yeah.
So while that's going on, you do have Brendan's favorite character. I mean, like I said, he's a Me Too,
Roichi, yeah.
worst of the
Roichi.
worst. He's like giving like women hugs around the waist,
Right.
just like grabbing their
no, hold on a
chins.
second.
And
I just like
like
to point out when you call him Captain Me Too.
yeah.
I just like to say, does anyone say no to him?
Well, I guess they do
When?
actually, because later on in this episode, when they have their night alone, and he's making out with Misato on the elevator, and she's like, "No," and he's like, "Oh, but your eyes,
It's
your mouth
saying-
says
yeah.
no, but your eyes say yes."
And then what does she say to that?
Then when the elevator doors close, she fucking throws her
But she
files at him. It's
doesn't-
just like, fuck that dude.
But
Yeah.
she kisses him so passionately, and she obviously likes it. It obviously bothers her. And the other girl who he hugged behind.
you are.
she
This is why
smiles.
you and the HR department have a fucking problem, Brennan.
Well, I mean, I guess I looked at it
I
kind of. I looked at it like this. I felt like she was fighting with her feelings with him.
Yeah, she.
Yeah, she wasn't
It was
fighting
more
with
on the
him.
lines. It was more
More
on
or
the lines
less,
with that.
That's
but
fine, but he's still like.
I mean, he's still trash.
he's,
I don't know.
I think he's.
I think he might be trash, but they like the
Here-
garbage,
here's
bro.
what-
They trying to
here's
be
the
in the
thing.
dump.
But I didn't know who he liked because
trying to be
when
in
he
the
groped
dump.
homegirl and was like, "Yeah, baby, yeah, it's nice to see you," and then she
And
was
she
like
was-
at the looking through the window like, "What the fuck?" And then she was like,
But the
"Oh,
girl he
this-"
was hugging, she was just
She
like,
was with it.
was
She
with
didn't. She didn't
was
deny
like,
it.
I
But
know,
in the
I know
elevator,
about this dump.
I get both sides. I get that it's like you personing
I
and
want
then
Oscar
she
to
stood her
grouch.
ground and was like, "Nah, fuck that," because she could have easily like, you know what?
Well, here's the thing.
Dropped the
I
draws.
think he's like a lot of men. A lot of men will play on feelings. Like we used to fuck around. I know you still feeling me, but you're not trying to feel me. But let me see what I can
I'm
do.
gonna play up into it.
Yeah. So I think
yeah.
I think that's what he was doing.
He said some cold shit on the elevator too. He said some
That's
cold.
what Rob was just saying. He was like,
cold
look,
shit.
he's like, look, what do you want me to believe? Do you want me to believe your words or your lips?
He said your lips or the words that's coming through him. I was like, "Hey, you cold."
Yeah, and that's what he's
This
going
dude
off.
is cold.
He's going off. He's going
My
off.
man is smooth.
Yeah, he's going off.
He's trying to give him that Oscar the Grouch.
For
You know what I'm
him-
saying? Like,
For him, he's like the reason why he's saying he's probably feeling like it's not me too, and I think Brendan what he's looking at is like, yo, your body. It's like your this is wrong reference to use R. Kelly, but like he's pretty much saying that your body language is pretty much saying this. Your body
my
language is saying.
mind's telling me no.
Yeah, exactly.
But my body.
So your body's saying this over here, but you're saying no. But you're pretty much pressing your ass against me. So what do you want me to do? That's how he's looking.
Rob
at it.
is rolling his eyes.
Because she's not
God.
pressing her
to the
ass
back.
against him.
Yeah,
If
she-
she would
was
be
in
perfectly
that,
happy
fam.
with, I think, being
She
left
didn't.
alone.
She didn't
Rob-
reject. She didn't reject the kiss, and it wasn't like those forceful
She was
kisses
about
where you're
it,
like,
Rob.
He's grabbing her, holding
Yeah.
her, trying to kiss her, and she's like,
She
"Stop
was
it."
in it. She
Yeah.
went
was-
against the
she
wall.
was in it. She was
just like,
she dropped her
yes,
papers.
Yes.
Yeah, he's got her up against the wall where she's got no escape to get out of that. shit.
No,
And
that
then
was.
But I
what's
see-
telling to me is as soon as the doors close, she's like, "Fuck that dude."
But when the doors were
true.
open,
But she even said stop it. She said she didn't say stop because I wanted you to stop kissing me. She said stop. The elevator's about to open.
I still think this dude is
he's
trash.
right.
Yeah.
I'm just
I
saying,
think
like,
this dude
Rob,
is
I think
straight up
the
trash.
thing
He's
is,
trash
Rob,
for the-
I'm 100% about the Me Too movement,
Yeah.
but I feel like you're overextending.
Yeah,
it
he's
in
not.
this
He's not
moment.
trash in that
I
aspect.
don't think so.
He's
He's
trash
not.
in a player aspect, but he's not trash.
He's
in
a
the
player.
forcing
He's not a
himself on
rapist,
women
man.
aspect.
Yeah, using feelings, yes.
Come on,
Playing off
man.
emotions,
But
yes.
he's not putting himself where
This
he
is a
doesn't want
fucking
to be done.
workplace. This is a government workplace.
People fuck at work all the time,
All the
man.
time.
Yeah,
No,
what
that's
talking
true.
about?
That
No,
is
that's
a
not-
normal thing.
It's true. It does happen. That's the problem. No, anyway.
That's
So
a huge side tangent. Go ahead.
HR.
So anyway, I mean, it turns out that these three are like the Three Musketeers because he even says like, "Oh, it's the three of us all back together again."
Right.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
Sounds
they're
like things have happened with the three of them. But go ahead.
seems like it because he even says like at one point when they're all like meeting together back on the ship, he's just like, "Oh yeah, Shinji, so you live with her? She still roll around in her
Right.
sleep."
Yeah.
That
it's
was
like,
so
damn.
boss.
That was
in front
that
of
was uncalled
everybody.
for.
That was
That was
that's
super-
what we're talking about.
Yeah.
That's some uncomfortable
That's
shit. Like
so
basically just
funny.
being like, we used
No,
to fuck.
first of
Yeah.
all,
in front of these 14-year-old children.
Yeah,
First
that's,
of all,
that's
that was
what it
fucked
is.
up.
But
That's-
what happened before that? She came at him. She came at him and
He's like,
shot
what
him
the-
down.
He
So
said,
was
"What the
just
fuck
like,
you doing
she-
here?"
No,
but
she,
it was.
but
she
she came
shot
at him for no
well,
reason.
yeah.
He's like, my job sent me here, and he's actually talking about work. And she's like, what the fuck are you doing here, bud? You ain't shit. And he was just like, so does she still roll around in her sleep?
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like it was like it was just like a shot.
Meanwhile, he's
that was-
literally
that was a
trash
low
because
bar.
he jumps off the fucking ship
Right.
to carry out his like
He
fucking
fucking
secret
peaced out.
mission.
his orders from his boss.
Like
My
that-
man
what's
is
that-
doing his job,
Yeah.
Rob.
Yeah.
He's doing his job.
He didn't even give a contingency plan or nothing. He just pieced the fuck out.
Yeah.
He did
like
his
that,
job.
Like that GIF of that black
Yeah,
dude
it
with
For
the dreads
example,
and just
later in this
disappeared.
episode,
That's what he
they
did.
asked Asuka's like, where is Ryoji?
Yeah.
And she was like, he has no place here because his job isn't to and control the Evas. So when he left, he wasn't taking anything away from the team and he was doing his job. Tell
His
me how
job
he's
was to be
fucking
the
up.
guardian of the girl.
But that becomes
oh,
her
s-
job when she supersedes it.
Speaking of that, he the one that created that synchronicity plan.
Yes,
that was
he
him.
is. His plan. Rob,
That
what
was
up?
his plan.
He
Talk
still
about my
sucks.
man.
He
Talk about him.
sucks.
Ryoji
He's
is about this life. The
there-
women's
I'm-
want the trash. The
No.
women's want the trash. The robots need
Hey,
it.
I'm not
He
going to argue
saved
with that.
humanity.
Some women do want
They
trash.
want
He
the
I
trash.
can't
saved
argue with
humanity with his
But
plan.
honestly, they're the same person though. Him and the captain are the same person, just different. Like outside of work, she comes to work, but she's trash because she like drinks and all that.
Her name is Misato.
He comes to work. And he's trash as a man, like as outside. But when he comes to work, he makes dope shit. He made that plan,
Yep.
but outside of work, he's a player and a garbage person. So they're the same person.
Except
really.
he brings it to the
Yeah.
workplace.
I mean, you are what you are wherever you are.
All right,
Yeah.
whatever. Anyway, we got to keep moving with this
Yeah.
shit. So
Rob
they're
doesn't
working
like our
We got to keep
arguments.
moving with the shit.
they're working those late night hours over at the office. Meanwhile, they're having a night alone back at the apartment, which got a little weird.
It got a lot of weird.
It got a lot of weird. But, you know, at first it seemed like, oh, okay, well, we can use this night to practice our routine. But she's just like, no, leave me the fuck alone.
Right.
And so she closed the door and is just like, all right, like you stay on your side, I'm going to stay on my side. However, in the middle of the night, she comes into his room. And they're laying face to face, and at first it seems like because he's like her tits are falling out of her shirt. He's
Right.
looking at
It was
that. He's starting to
fantastic.
sweat.
Yeah.
They're getting really close.
Yep.
He thinks they're about to kiss, and then all of a sudden she starts like basically calling for her mom. So
Yeah.
it's less
And
that she's
crying.
looking
Yeah.
because he thinks that she's there to. Basically there to hook up,
Right.
but she's there because she's a scared child looking for her mother because she doesn't
He
want to
even
sleep
said
alone.
that.
Yeah.
He's like, this bitch is scared as me.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
So the next day they get out to do the routine and they execute it perfectly and they end up taking out this alien with this dance routine. They're flipping in all over
Perfect
this shit.
escape.
Yo,
It was dope.
those the robots have never moved like that. Until
Yeah,
this
yeah.
moment.
that was pretty crazy.
Yeah,
it was
pretty
dope.
hard.
It was cool. So they had that crazy fight, but of course the whole thing ends with them laying on top of each other, and then like they have that funny scene. Well, I thought this last like interaction between them was kind of funny because like they're yelling at each other, and she's just like, "You tried to kiss me in the sleep last night." She's like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, well that's because you came over to me." She's like, "I was joking. I didn't think you actually did that."
Yeah,
shit.
that was great.
Yeah.
He was just like, oh yeah. So wait,
He was
Rob,
like, wait,
hold on,
you are
hold on.
awake?
Hold on, a second. Rob.
Mhm.
Who's
already know
Me
it.
Too?
I already knew where
Who's
this
Me
was
Too?
What?
Who's
Yeah.
in the Me Too movement?
He
my
didn't
man's
kiss her.
kissing. My man's going after unconscious women, and you're coming after Roji.
She came to
who
him,
does
and
it
then
to the
he
women.
didn't do anything.
I'm just
She
he
was-
pretty
she
much
was-
did. He was
She
in
was
it.
she
He
was
didn't.
She was
He
asleep.
didn't.
Her eyes were not
Yeah,
open.
she
She
was
was not
sleepwalking.
conscious.
He thought she wanted it. Turned out he didn't, and he moved away.
Nah, bro.
He
He's
left.
taking advantage of a situation.
He did, but he
She's
literally
unconscious.
did
He
not
literally-
take
You're on
advantage.
that CeeLo Green shit right
he
now. It's
literally
like,
did
that-
not
he's on-
take advantage.
but he was about to.
But he did not.
All I'm saying is like you're on that CeeLo Green shit. Like, well, she can't say no. She's asleep.
Yeah.
Like
That's not
He
at
said
all
that
what I'm
shit.
that's
saying.
what would have happened if she would have said "mama."
What?
That's what would have happened.
that's-
if she wouldn't
oh
have cried
my
and asked for
God.
her mama, he would have been in it.
You're reaching on this
This
shit.
is true, but it didn't happen.
But it
so-
didn't happen.
But I'm saying though, if somebody had the
If-
intention
if
to
it
do
would have
if
happened,
anybody
maybe.
in this
I-
show at this
I
moment
think-
is Me Too,
I
who
think,
is it?
I think both of y'all reached in both of those situations. I
Yeah,
think
both-
Rob
yeah.
reached on his and Brendan reached on his. Go ahead.
Anyway, so this last episode is kind of like it almost seems like a one-off.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
So they find out that there's an angel underneath the earth in this volcano that's in an embryo stage. And
I
they're
wish
like,
they told us how they found it, because that's
Yeah.
just like, how the hell do you find an angel?
well,
in
I mean, we already think that maybe Nerv knows more than they're letting on in
yeah,
the first
they
place. So they
absolutely
may
do.
have known this was going on the whole time, and like now's the time because Ahsoka basically asks, like, why are we never going on the offensive? And they're like, well, this is our first opportunity to do that. So we found this angel that's in an embryo stage in this volcano. We can suit up the O2 Eva with this heat resistant suit and send it in there, and we can try to capture this thing. So they put Asuka up in this suit, and it turns out makes her look like a great big fat person, and her Eva like a great big fat person. She gets super embarrassed and is like, I don't want to do this shit anymore. Ray's just like, well then fuck it, I'll do
remember
it.
She has a crush on her dude.
Yeah.
Her
Yeah.
handler, whatever you want to call it.
because he's
Ryoji.
boss. Everybody does. But go ahead.
Yeah.
So anyway, so she Ray says, all right, if you don't want to do it, then fuck it, I'll do it. But she, of course, has this rivalry going on with Ray where she wants to be the boss, and she's just like, all right, no, fuck it. Then I'll get in there. I'll do it.
Ray, you know what it is? Ray don't want no problems. Ray don't want to do shit. She's just there to be like, if you don't want to do it, I'll do it. Yeah, I'll do it then. Got him again.
Right.
Reverse psychology in this motherfucker, man.
She's
And you
good at
still look hard in the
Yeah.
process. Like you still look like you
Somebody
with
need
the
to call her bluff. Like, you go ahead. Shit.
So they get her all suited up in this in the suit, and they're dropping her into the volcano, and she finds the angel, and she has it in this containment field. But while she's bringing it back up, the thing starts hatching, and they're like, okay,
Of course it does. How boring would this episode be if it
if
did?
it just
yeah,
can't,
yeah.
everything went according
Good
to
job,
plan.
guys. We got it. All right,
Yep.
cool. Let's study it.
So it turns into this super strong, heat resistant angel that's
Of course it is.
that's ripping her shit up. She drops her knife.
Yeah.
So that's fucking gone. She's got no recourse to fight this thing.
Just for the record, I also like to point out, it's like we have these giant Eva machine robot things, and the best weapon they could come up with
Was
is
a
like
knife.
a pocket
Is a
knife.
knife.
Yeah.
A fucking
For it.
small, short knife.
Like they gave one of them the rifle, and the other person has a pocket knife.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'd think it'd be like a sword. I mean, it seems strong as shit, like it can
Right.
cut through whatever, but
but it's
still.
a pocket
Yeah.
knife.
It's
But go ahead.
essentially a pocket knife.
Yeah.
So their plan is after she loses her knife, is like, all right, Shinji, drop yours in the volcano. I don't know, which
it
is
in
the
there, yeah.
dumbest plan. It's just like, but
a floating knife.
It
yeah.
works.
It works.
Who would have thought that? Because what if, like I said, what if it floated? Like,
Yeah.
You know,
I don't know.
whatever.
I don't know.
whatever.
But she manages to grab it, and she destroys this angel. But in the
She
in the
doesn't destroy
process,
it. She doesn't destroy it with the knife. The way that she destroys it is that they were talking earlier about thermal expansion.
Yeah.
in the
that's
episode.
right,
That's when
because
you
it's a
find out-
whole thing with the
Foreshadowing.
science problems.
Yeah.
They can't.
She's
they're not
smart as
studying
shit. She just doesn't care.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Asuka is very smart. She's already graduated from college, even though she's 14.
well. And
Yeah.
for some reason, she's taking high school classes.
Because
with
she
the rest
can't,
of these
she needs to
kids.
learn Japanese. She can't read Japanese.
that's
That's why
right.
she
Oh,
failed
yeah,
the test.
yeah.
But
So-
Shinji, he's just fucking stupid too. Like, how you gonna be a bitch and stupid? that
and
pissed
also
me
the
off.
person who saved the planet multiple times. But we won't get into that later.
No, but
So
still a
what I'm
bitch.
saying is that so they did the thermal expansion thing where they're down there, everything's really hot. She realizes she has a bunch of coolant systems on her. So what she does is she puts the coolant. She opens up the machine with the coolant. She cools off a part of it, so that makes it compress. She hits it with a knife, opens it back up, puts the coolant thing inside of her, says, flow all the coolant inside of this thing. Does that messes it up. And in the process, it realizes it's going to die. The angel does. And then it cuts her umbilical cord to the surface.
Yep. And so she's about to drop off.
Kamikaze.
She thinks it's like, all right, well, maybe this is a wrap for me.
Yep.
But instead, Shinji jumps down into the volcano without the suit, which I thought was the
I
important
thought
part.
that was
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
get that. But he grabs onto her and saves
But he's
her.
a bitch.
Oh yeah,
I'm looking
of
at Ice
course.
when I said that, everybody.
Yeah, he's a bitch still.
So he jumped
He
into
jumped
an
in there
active
without
volcano.
all right, I don't know
He-
about
That
that.
was
Yeah,
cold.
thank
That's
you,
a cold
That was
move.
dope.
Thank you,
Don't
Rob.
get me wrong. Everybody had.
That's
y'all
not a
should-
bitch move, Ice, is the
He's still
point.
the overall.
He had
bitch.
one
You
moment of
do one-
weakness.
You have no.
He has multiple. But
Right.
he is
That moment
he's
he was
coming
dope.
out of his bitch shell.
He is
Yeah.
the most
Yeah.
clutch performer in this show. When humanity's back's against the wall, who you want on your team?
That wasn't really humanity.
I'm saying in general, though, every time it's like an angel's about to destroy the world, this man shows up.
He's there. I mean, this is the first time anybody else other than Shinji really has beaten Angel, pretty
Right.
much.
Yeah.
So the other thing that's been going on in this episode is that the rest of their class has gone to Okinawa on a big trip. They can't go because they need to fucking stick around in case an angel
Don't
shows
call.
up.
Yeah.
I don't know why she doesn't get that, but Shinji's just like, yeah, I didn't want to go anyway, so it's fine. But
Bye, bitch.
yeah,
But-
Brennan's got to hop out.
Yep,
Yeah.
I gotta go.
All right.
Y'all
bitch.
take care.
See ya.
I'll tell you guys my thoughts on this later, but please do share all of your thoughts.
We won't
about
be.
this
We won't be publishing that. Go ahead.
Yeah.
whatever.
So, after defeating the angel, they're just like, all right, let's reward these kids. They can go off and chill in the hot springs, go out to relax. And so they head out, and Pen gets to go hang out with Shinji. They go to the hot baths and they're hanging out, and of course, just over the
They
wall.
delivered him, which was weird too.
Yeah, that was really weird. He showed up in some sort of like pod or something,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so they're hanging out. This reminded me very much of My Hero because they had like those hot bath scenes where it's just like you got the boys on the one side, the girls on the other, and there's obviously a lot of sexuality going on. Shinji is feeling both Rei and Asuka at this point, but doesn't want to really like Asuka, but can't deny his attraction because he's 14.
But it's like these are teenagers. These hormones are going crazy.
It's like
now.
the pinnacle almost.
And he's
like
in,
from
he's in a
14
room
to
with
20.
two of them, and they get dressed in there. They're naked, walking around. He be in there naked.
And like when they're even studying, she's just like, I wonder if he would make my boobs expand. And and he's just like, oh, I don't know anything about that. She's like, why are you so boring?
Yeah, like
I can't imagine living with like a girl that's this is not family.
right.
That's in your room and they're developed and you're developing too. It's like,
And she's like, oh,
crazy.
check out my bathing suit.
Yeah.
I mean, if anything, she's definitely flirting with him, and he's just like, I don't know about anything. She's like, oh,
Yeah.
fuck this guy.
Yeah.
Right.
You know? But anyway, so there's a moment where Pen sees his erection, basically,
Right.
after because they had that stupid like dialogue with Misato and Asuka where she's just like, oh, your body's so like
Really
soft
tough,
and
yeah.
supple. It's like,
Yeah.
oh my,
Yeah.
give me a fucking break here.
Right.
Don't touch me there. Oh, I'm ticklish. Like, come
Right.
on. But the last thing that happens is Misato and Asuka sitting together in the baths, and she is kind of just like, so you know everything about me. And she's like, yeah, it's my job to know everything about you. And she's just like, and Asuka's just like, kind of she appears guilty, and Misato tells her like, don't worry, that's all in the past.
Yeah.
And before we know what that really is alluding to, the episode ends. And that was
And she
episode
has a
10.
big ass scar.
yeah.
In the middle
Misato
of,
does, yeah.
Yeah. And then she's like, what the fuck is that scar? And it was like, some shit that happened in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some more weird shit that happened.
Mhm.
Why is she trying to try on bathing suits and go shopping with the girl?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know.
but that remind me of high school again. It was always like some of the times the younger girls wanted the older guys.
Oh yeah.
They had the crushes on the teachers.
Yeah.
They were coming after this, like, hey, Mr. So and so. And this is reminding me of that. And I'm just like, for him, this is her hormone, so I can't knock her too much, right?
Mhm.
She should know better in a certain sense, but he should know better to be like, I'm not going shopping with a child that's not mine.
Yeah.
Right.
That's fucking crazy.
And
It is
also
weird.
too that I know he's, you can say that, oh, he's her guardian, but it's like you have women available
Exactly.
that could have
You have
went with her
Misato.
instead.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
exactly. I'm saying,
Who
yo,
lives with you?
exactly. At this point, there's certain things that I can't teach you.
Yeah.
You're a teenage girl. You need a woman to teach you these things.
Right.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not about to go unless like I'm a single father and I have to take you broad shopping. You're my daughter. That's different.
Right.
But
Even
just-
in that case, I was still. You got to have a homegirl or two that you like. Hey,
I need some advice or some help.
or
Come with
somebody,
me.
or just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Granted, he was reluctant to do it. Like they had dialogue where he was like, "Oh man,
Well,
I have to do this."
yeah.
But you still shouldn't have did it. Like you had people available.
He's been
I
he's been good at being like he's not showing any interest at all. But
Yeah.
I think he should have definitely shut it down and been like,
But he knows she's interested, and he's using that. Like, he's basically exploiting her interest in her because he's like, well, if I string her along, like, she'll do what I say.
You're right.
And as her guardian, that just makes my job easier. So,
yeah.
So he's trash.
Goes back. Yeah,
He is- I mean,
they
he's
go
trash.
back to you feel like he's trash. I mean, I can't disagree with that.
Yeah.
But okay, so I got a serious question here.
All right.
All right, who so far the animes that we've seen, who is the angriest redhead?
The angriest redhead. Oh.
Her or Kuwabara?
Mm.
Her or Kuwabara? When she first popped on the screen angry, I was like, fucking redheads again.
Yeah.
They're making redheads even in German. I mean, even in the anime.
Yeah.
Cool.
thinking
Bar,
about
I would
that.
still say.
I think because Kuwabara has not really turned down.
Yeah.
He's
he
always
doesn't-
been turned up. Like, you're a Meshi. Like, he's always
Yeah.
up
Yeah.
and ready to go.
He
and
is.
Yeah.
He's screaming.
He
She's
does
had
keep
moments where
pushing.
she's vulnerable, and she'll be like you said, you're boring. Come on, like she's trying to bring some shit out of him.
Yeah.
I would have to say,
No, I'd agree with that. Yeah, because Kuwabara is always just like, I mean, except for when he was crushing on that one psychic girl or whatever that they
Yeah.
tried to save, the witch or something from the last few episodes we watched.
oh yeah.
But other than that, yeah, he's always just like, you're a mess. You ain't shit. Like,
Yeah.
you're weak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I know Kuwabara.
is there any other redheads we've seen in any of these other shows? I'm trying to think.
That might be it. I think I asked that question
Trying to-
purposely because it was just him too. Because it was funny because Kuwabara is just so
Yeah,
fucking
he's-
angry.
He is.
I wish. I mean, you would think Bakugo has red hair the way he be going in.
That's true, but he's
like
cool as a
blonde,
cucumber.
yeah.
He's blind.
So far, what do you guys think? 10 episodes in. The pressure's on you, Rob.
To be honest, I'm not loving it. I think it's all right. I think it's good, but there's plot holes like we discussed that I feel like the show is smart enough in other places that when these plot holes come along, I'm like, come on, like you're better than this. I feel like, when the action is on, I enjoy it. Like them fighting and splitting when she split that thing in half, I'm like, fuck yeah, let's see more of that. Even their synchronized dance. But some of the other stuff, like with the volcano episode, there just wasn't much excitement.
Yeah.
I think I think there could be more action as we go and as there are more Evas or the Evas gain capability, but it's definitely very slow. I enjoy it, but I don't love it.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at.
Nice. Trash.
This shit is fucking trash. No, for real. Like I honestly feel like this. I'm really big on. I usually don't like the main characters just for other reasons because of Goku theory.
Yeah.
But I just don't like this main character at all. He's like, you take like the worst versions of Deku and Mob and like put them together, and I feel like that's him because like he's a bitch, but he also don't really care about nothing. He's not really passionate. He's just like whatever, and people talk shit on him, and he's just like, okay, whatever. Like, so I don't like just how much of a bitch he is, and even over 10 episodes, he hasn't really grown that much. It's boring. It's just a boring show. Like that's like I'm watching it, and for me, since I wasn't on the last episode, I didn't have any urgency to watch the first 5 episodes.
Yeah.
So I practically watched all 10 episodes yesterday,
Ooh.
and I was like, this is fucking boring. Like I couldn't get over how boring it was. That was just my main 2 things, but I'm not a fan at all. I'm gonna watch it obviously because we have to, but it's not like gangster level. I feel like this might be one of those Samurai Champloo shows that's like
whereas moments, but it's just
nostalgia of it is why people like it so much. It's like, oh, and then maybe like Akira, like during that time this probably was the shit.
Yeah.
And especially if you watching it on like a weekly basis and you like, oh my god, this shit is, in 95, like this was probably the shit.
Yeah.
But right now in 2019 it's just not holding up.
To me, just to go to my point so we can wrap this up, that's how I feel. I'm similar to both you guys you and Ice, and I feel like when an anime is fire, it don't matter what time you drop it in. It's like music.
Yeah.
It's like anything.
Timeless.
Movies, music, anything, right? It's timeless, right? You drop it in there, you watch this shit from 95, you watch this shit in 2055. It's like, this shit is still dope as hell.
It's kind of like you said, though, about Richard Pryor, though, because it's like when Richard Pryor did it, he was the man. But like looking at it now, some people say he's a hack.
Well,
but I still like his stuff is still timeless.
Well, yeah, you was. I guess you would say I wouldn't call him a hack. You would say it sounds hacky. 'Cause he's doing,
yeah.
But this stuff with Richard Pryor, if you just watch his storytelling in general, that's still innovative in a sense.
Very
you know
much
what I'm saying?
so.
But I think that's even true with this show. Like, there's still a lot of stuff that they're doing that I think you can see in more modern animes that they took from this, they borrowed from this, they were influenced by it.
Absolutely.
And I think you're right, where it's like back in the day, like this was probably like, oh shit, we've never seen anything like this, like an Akira. But now when we have more exciting stuff like a My Hero where it's just faster paced,
Yeah.
it's just like the pace is just there's no way around it. It's slow.
It's mad slow. Absolutely.
I think it's a smart show. I like it. But even I find it very slow.
It's like
I don't even mind that
opera-y, like
a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like they are doing some pretty cool world building.
Yeah.
That's where I will give it the advantage, and I guess it's similar in the sense of Trigun.
Yeah.
That's where it's giving me a Trigun feel where it's
I
like
would agree with that.
very very lackluster but it just some philosophical stuff.
Yeah.
It shit feels real. I feel like damn, like the stake of the world is really at fucking stake here. This is some crazy stuff that's happening, and I want to know more about this world.
Yeah.
But I'm an action guy.
Yeah.
Like I ain't gonna lie to you. I love action a lot in my anime. I need a lot of action. So I mean, that'd be me at fault and why I'm not fucking with this as much as I want to. But I will give that an advantage of it does world build pretty well.
Yeah.
So
I think for me, it's not a chore. It's not going to be a chore watching the rest of this. But if I'm gonna probably watch 20 episodes of Hunter x Hunter first, and then be like, oh shit, I gotta watch these.
No, I get that. Yeah.
And this is one of those animes I'll say somebody if it was recommendation. I mean, it's only 10 in right now, but as of right now, how I feel, I was like, hey man, how you feeling about it? But like, that's cool. I mean, if you want I guess a classic anime, this would be considered a classic. But I mean, I don't know. I guess Yu Yu was tough to watch for animation, but Yu Yu gave you that work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yu gave you action. Yu gave you a lot of different things. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'd say at this point I probably enjoy Yu Yu more, but it hasn't done anything so bad that I'd be like, this is garbage. Don't watch it.
Right.
I don't think it's a waste of time, but it's definitely not
gangster.
Yeah.
Would you watch it if they updated like 100x100 where they updated the animation? You think that would have played anything to make it better? I personally don't think so.
No, I would have still felt this because the animation would have been like is kind of smooth, but I would be like, man, like it's still when it's slow, it's slow. The animation has nothing to do with that.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah, it's just that it's mad slow.
Yeah, and I mean there is this and I was talking about this with Brennan yesterday. It's for him, I know he was saying that that one of his biggest issues with the show right now is there's no clear antagonist.
Right.
Like we've talked about with other shows, there's no vendetta of like I got to get that dude. And I'm like, yeah, exactly. And it's sort of this existential threat of yes, there are angels out there somewhere ending the world, but there's no main person that we're going after at this point. So it seems a little directionless and like, what is the main goal other than just to survive?
The angels are amped up goblins.
Right.
A little bit. I mean, the only thing that I can think to kind of go against that is right now I would argue the main antagonist is his dad.
Yeah.
Because his dad clearly knows shit. His dad maybe even tied in with the angels and knows more about what happened with the second impact than anybody. And he's clearly holding things close to the chest. I even wonder if his dad's controlling the angels or something
that's what
like
I was
that.
just saying.
Yeah.
I think in order to make sure that, like, I think with those 15 years passing and they don't see any value in Nerve, he's like, oh, fuck, let me put some angels out here so we can be relevant again. So it's like, I feel like he might be doing that.
And it keeps them in power. You need me because I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And
so
nobody
he's
else
like,
does.
let me push these out here and I can test my son at the same time.
We're gonna see.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying like this is ever going to get up to 11 or anything like that. Like it might not ever turn up that hard, but there's no way Netflix would make as big of a deal as they did, go out of their way to get the show if it was complete garbage with no kind of payoff at the end.
Right.
There's got to be something.
Or I think it's more so of just the following forward and the how it's been shrouded in mystery and it's hard to get and people haven't been able to watch this. I think that was the more of a drawing factor for Netflix than anything else.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, like this show versus, like I said, remember what I put in the group chat when the trailer dropped. I was like, oh, this is about to have me feeling certain emotions, and it really hasn't. Like it hasn't.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna be, like you said, down, low on the action, like a Trigon, like you got to put the philosophical and the emotions, like that shit got to be, up here, and it really hasn't. Especially 10, just like we say, if you 10 episodes deep and we haven't seen it yet. Granted, you got 16 episodes to save face.
Yeah,
you are cutting it close though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I agree with
that.
that.
All right. Well, we extended this episode pretty long.
Yeah.
I just want to drop your stuff.
Yeah, the eye exam, THEIYEXAM.
Brennan, bitch ass. Brennan.
Bitch.
Okay, nobody.
Rob, go ahead. Go ahead.
RV Danger on Instagram, RV Danger 44 on Twitter.
I'm Keenan Baker on everything on Instagram, Twitter. Follow the AnimeSHUN Podcast at AnimeSHUN Podcast, Instagram, Facebook. Tell us what y'all think so far about this anime, and we're gonna keep watching, but like, should we be waiting for that shit to turn up? Is it gonna turn up? Don't spoil it for them. I don't give a fuck. You know me. I'll take the spoilers.
DM Keenan all the spoilers.
All the spoilers. Just tell them what happens.
If Keenan comes in next week, just like I can't wait. I'm
Yeah.
gonna be like, all right, something has been.
Yeah. So yeah, let us know what y'all think about it, how y'all feel. We always appreciate y'all listening. And now we got video, y'all. So we appreciate y'all watching this shit, baby.
Hey.
And let's get us to 100,000 views every episode.
Every
Why not?
episode.
God damn it.
At least.
We want money, we want sponsorships, and we want y'all. We want to be to come and go on tour and see y'all motherfuckers.
Pull up on me.
All right? So thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of AnimeSHUN. Squad's out.
And so anime was solved forever.